Business Today is brought to you by
More great cities just got closer. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard is now even better. Fly to New York, Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale with just 20,000 Scotia points. With your new Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard, you'll receive a welcome bonus of 10,000 Scotia points, so you can enjoy the cities you love most sooner than ever. Apply today. Call 426-7000 or visit your nearest branch.
This is Business Today. I'm Marlon Madden. Commerce and International Business Minister Danville Inniss is not worried about Barbados going to the International Monetary Fund or IMF for assistance. He says whether or not the country decides to go that route, there are a number of things that will have to change if the country is to emerge from its current economic slump. His comments come against a backdrop of calls for the Frondell Stewart administration to enter into a formal program with the Washington-based IMF.
I'm not worried about the IMF and engaging IMF. If that's something we have to do, that's something we have to do. But I think we're all smart enough to know what we may have to continue to do or to do differently if we wish to engage with the IMF and other parties. I, for example, believe that the financing methods used to grow our social services is not sustainable. Our method of financing healthcare and education in particular is not as sustainable as it needs to be.
Inniss tells Business Today key to the island's economic recovery is a well-functioning private sector. He's calling for a more entrepreneurial-driven private sector.
I think the future of Barbados lies in having a more diverse and vibrant and outward-looking, internationally focused private sector, not in having a large and oftentimes inefficient public sector. I think the public sector role is to regulate, to create laws and enforce laws, but not necessary to be heavily involved in economic activity, as I feel is the domain in the private sector.
And addressing trade matters, Minister Inniss says it's critical that Barbados open its markets to get its goods on the regional and international stage. He says too often local manufacturers call for higher duties to be placed on goods coming into the country, while they want lower duties for their products entering other markets.
I think, though, that yes, we will continue at the quartet meetings to fight for a very level playing field and access to market, but we also have in Barbados, though, having said that, to be prepared to accept that if we want to get into other people's markets with our goods and services, we have to be prepared to allow them into our market and into our space. So on one hand, you get guys sometimes saying, hey, we need to charge more duties on some goods coming in here. And then on the other hand, they say, well, look, I want to get my products into this market. Can you help us get a lower rate of duty going into their market, kind of thing. And that's always a tough one about and that. But I've established my own principles as Minister of Commerce and Industry in terms of what we perceive to be the inputs that we need to make an informed decision on matters. Our ability to export consistently, quality-wise, price point. What besides the tax issues, what other factors can we use to help get into people's market?
Inniss is particularly anxious to see the private sector tapping into the Barbadian diaspora.
There's one grouping that I'm particularly excited about, which is the diaspora. Because they have a level of affinity with Barbadian goods pretty much, and I think that that's a market that we have to be a little more aggressive in pursuing, getting more of our products into their catchment area. And look at the size of the diaspora. They could, if they were really working with us and us with them, we could probably do a lot of exports of distinct Barbadian products to their markets.
National Commercial Bank Jamaica has been selected as lead arranger by the Jamaica Public Service Company and its subsidiary South Jamaica Power Company Limited to structure financing for a 190 megawatt LNG power plant. It will operate as an independent power provider. South Jamaica Power Company broke ground earlier this month for the gas-fired plant being developed at Old Harbour in the parish of St. Catherine. The project, funded by syndicated loan and bonds, is valued at US $330 million and is the product of a first-time partnership among local and regional financial institutions. When completed, the plant will be the largest single contributor to Jamaica's energy grid, contributing up to 20% of the national power supply. Now for today's financial tip. When taking an overseas trip, it is important that you travel with a little extra cash. You never know what emergency might pop up, or you may need it to spend on that thing you forgot to plan for. That's been Business Today. Join us again on Thursday. Until then, you can get more business and news by logging on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribing to our e-paper, and liking us on Facebook. I'm Marlon Madden.